to our first ever, I guess we'll call it our pilot edition of Connectors Club. And I guess I better show this one first to the public, because if I don't, then that just messes up the whole universe. And I've said it out loud, so it's out there.
You have.
No, well, with me today is Laura Petrovic, and a good friend, and here because of networking and relationship building, and that's what this series is all about, and talking with people who love doing that and why they like it, how they do it, etc. Laura's the director of sales and marketing at the Renaissance Hotel in Albany, and yeah, I guess I'll let you. Well, I did all the introducing, so now we don't have anything to talk about, or.
That is what I do. So, I should add that our hotel also is home to Wellington's restaurant. So sometimes people have heard of Wellington's, but not Renaissance. So.
Right. And you're in your space now.
I am in one of my event spaces. This is the Highland Room. So, yep. Lots of big windows.
Right. Yeah. So normally, pre-pandemic, and hopefully post-pandemic, this would be, maybe you wouldn't be in this space because it would be being used, right?
It would be being used for sure.
That's the idea. That's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
But so, going back, we've both been, professionals in the capital region for a while, and enjoy networking. And that's what, as I said, the idea of this little interview series is to talk with people who love doing that and why they do. And so we'll start with that. Just what do you like about networking? How do you enjoy that, or how do you?
Well, I'm not entirely sure always how to define networking, because it is what I am. I mean, anywhere you go, anyone you talk to, that's a connection. And so networking is sort of a tight term for actually just like knowing people and connecting with people. I just love being around people. I'm an extrovert, for those of you that know who I am. That would make you laugh out loud, because I am in fact an extrovert. So I get my energy from others. So I've been missing that. So.
I think as we've talked before and been involved on these the hour calls that I do, and talked with other people, and I think and you talked about networking being a tight term. Maybe that's what we use in the business sense. Is this like an activity? I'm going to networking, or this is what I need to do for my job, or I need to make new connections. But I think in reality, it's more relationship building, and that's goes beyond the business relationships. And I think, knowing you personally, that's the way you operate too. You don't have I don't think you have a separator between, this is a business contact, so this is how I treat them. This is
right.
It's relationships all around.
When I started with my company, to your point, they gave me a choice. They said, you can keep your phone, your number, we'll take it over, and then you just have one phone, or you can keep your number privately, you take care of that, and then we'll give you a second phone. For me, what phone are you in, Paul? Like, I mean, the moment I meet somebody, they're a friend. So there's no way for me to differentiate that. And that's sort of how I live my life. And right, when I meet someone, or in the olden days when we actually used to be in person, and, you and I would be standing at a cocktail party and someone comes up, and you introduce them to me. I don't ask them, so, do you plan events? I want to know, like, where you got your shoes, or, tell you your hair looks nice, or, just get to know somebody, because that's what will come back around.
Right. That's well, you bring up one point about I want to tips, tricks, or techniques, or something like that to words of wisdom to someone who's looking to meet people. And this is, again, now we have the Zoom, this type of interaction, but when that's one of the things that I would often do, if that's how I would meet folks. It would be hard for me to, even though I've known a lot of people, it'd be hard for me to just walk into a room that didn't know anyone, and this, because I'm not, hey, how you doing?
Right.
But if there's somebody there that's talking with, that's how I meet new people, is going to someone I know, and they're with other people that I don't know.
Right. So one of the things that has worked, and again, it's just who I am, but somebody said it once years ago and it resonated with me. If I had one bit of advice, it's never keep in a compliment. And I've literally met people by complimenting them not for any other reason than I don't want to keep it in. It might make their day to hear something nice about themselves. And I've met people that way and stayed connected with them. So that's one way to, because if you compliment someone that you don't know and they're rude to you back, well, okay, but you very well might make somebody's day. You have no idea what journey people are on, and, they might be putting on a face and you just, gave them something to smile about. So, yeah, and that's also a way to, again, when we're in person, I often will look for somebody who's sort of standing alone, looking at their phone or whatever, because usually I'm around a bunch of people that I can, connect them to and what have you. So to bring them in and make them feel less uncomfortable. So. Right.
The, to the relationship building point of business versus personal. So that doesn't, it's not like, well, of course, in someone in hospitality, it's not a 9-to-5 job. So there's plenty of activities, and, we're talking the way the world was when it was normal. So, breakfast,
right.
evening events and so on. But even weekends or, at the store, at church, gym, whatever, it's not shut off. At least it isn't with me. And I think that's the way it is with you and with many others, that it's not okay, I'm either in my own time, or this is where I need to, if I'm going to talk to somebody, it's in this different mode. I don't know where I'm going to meet people. I've made some relationships at places that are work and end up being business relationships at atypical places. So it doesn't need to be in the environment.
That's right. And you have no idea. Like, I could talk to somebody in one of my hotel lobbies that ends up, we connect, and, even the calls that we do, right? The Zoom calls we've been doing, Jessica from Wales, she and I have struck up some sort of a friendship, and you just don't know, where that might lead. Also, another piece to, at least to my world, is, I like to volunteer my time on boards or committees. My company is very, very supportive of that, and I'm grateful for it. But what that also does is I meet new people that way. I help a cause. I meet new people, and those new people learn to trust me just as a person. They get to know me as a person. And then when it's time, either they're going to send themselves or someone else to me, right? So it just, everything you do, it'll all come back around, especially in a market like what I do and here. So.
Right. Yeah. That's from the business development perspective, that I've always said that's that's been my strongest move, is to serve on boards and committees, because it's, you get to know people more than the person at either side of you at a breakfast, or, just small talk at a cocktail hour or something, but you roll up your sleeves and working on a cause together, and they get to see you in action. So, and, have obviously more opportunities for more conversation, but that's worked really well. And then, you get, and you're more passionate about something that you're into and behind. So it isn't just attending something to either, educational purposes, or even just strictly for networking purposes. I can admit that I've been to many events, not really as interested or caring about the event, but I went to because I knew people would be there. Like, I'm going to run into people, and this is,
Right. You can't be passionate about every cause everywhere. It's impossible. I mean, you can, but you'd go crazy. So you have to pick the ones that really resonate with you in order to, volunteer your, what do they call it? Your time, your talent, and your treasure.
Right.
So, because you just can't do it everywhere, which is why a community like, the Capital Region is so great. So many people are volunteering for so many different causes, and I, when I've mentored people and stuff, I've said, work on a committee first. Don't get yourself right on a board. Do a committee, so you get to learn about the organization, and if the cause speaks to you, then you can, investigate, being more involved, but that you still get to meet people.
Right. Now, this would be a separate interview series, but we've all been on boards where you take a role and you realize, wow, nobody's really doing anything.
Which is why a committee is a great place to start, so you know what you're getting into.
Right. But true to what this is, conversation is about. Yeah, it is a great way to get to know people better. And then, it typically culminates with either a number of activities or a big activity or something like that.
Right.
So you get to work on a goal and get to, achieve something together, and all that more
Right.
interactive.
Right.
So you mentioned Zoom calls, and we talked about Hour and the Happy and Coffee Hour series that we've been doing for almost a year. So it was the question was gonna be, how do you network during a pandemic? And that obviously being one, but what there's some limitations. I know some things are open, and it's looking like restrictions may ease a little bit more, even though there's different variants and so on. So we're still kind of waiting on, we're waiting on two things. We're waiting on those restrictions, and we're waiting on the comfort level of people of the crowds
to
come back.
I think
time.
The restrictions are going to loosen before, and then people are going to be able to mentally wrap their brains around doing it. It's hard networking during this time. I believe that for me, the best way that I don't even know how to say this, but to connect with people, I might pick off of our Zoom calls somebody that I send a message to on LinkedIn or whatever. And there's, some of us have connected, met for coffee or Zoom coffee or cocktails, whatever. And also I'm just connecting with my current clients, whether I'm calling them or emailing them, just to, not for business purposes, just to say, hope you're okay. And I've had some good back and forth there. Everyone's kind of in the same boat, in my industry, in the hotel and events industry. It doesn't matter right now how good of a salesperson you are, because it's all above my head. It's all above all of our heads, but people they're either going to book or they're not going to book. And right now they're just not going to book. It doesn't matter how good I am or anybody else. So what I can do right now is just reach out to those that I know. And, when I find the opportunity to connect with someone new, which again, your calls have been amazing for that, helps me still feel like I'm stepping forward and, just waiting it out.
Staying visible and
correct.
As well as we can. I know I've been to Wellington's a couple of times, and it's not, I've been there during legislative season, and it's crazy. And now it's obviously not, for a couple of reasons, but it's still nice to see folks in person, but it isn't the same animal as it was before, and but so that isn't the normal. But there are, things like the Coffee and Happy hour calls, and there are other networking things, the 518 networking group, et cetera, that create those platforms. But I don't know what's happened with your boards, and we talked about that as being a way to network. But I was on 5 boards before COVID really hit, and really only one of them stayed active, and it was already Zoom calls anyways, or they were looking to do that anyway. So it's a software group, so it's very, they're technologically savvy, so that made sense. But the rest of them all kind of paused.
Not me.
So even have less activity with that. So it's been, just creating the platform for it and going to others that exist is, just that way to stay visible and connected to a degree. But
I was on 2 boards. I mean, a bunch of committees, but 2 boards, and one of them has stayed active. The other one, has struggled with that a little bit, but there's a number of other reasons for that as well. So but the board that has stayed active on Zoom, I mean, when we're all together in a room, it's truly incredible, the energy. So Zoom is very hard, because I know that, I have some of my best friends are on this board with me, but I know that the people on that board feed off the energy of being in person, and to do it on Zoom, it's just a whole different animal, right? It is, but it's stayed active, and we're working through it.
So I guess the last question, or kind of wrap this up, just we go through the timeline of events. So all this seems to be so much around COVID, and it's understandable, because that's what we're going through now. But what do you think it'll be like when we can finally see this behind us? enough people vaccinated, numbers down, people are, masks or not, but able to get back out and do some things in person. How do you see that rolling out? I think everybody's got a crystal ball with this, and I think a lot of it has to do with.
That's my line.
But
I dropped my crystal ball in March. It was out for service. I just got it back, and it's still not working.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good safe answer.
But I think, like I said before, I think the restrictions in whatever industry or whatever piece of it you're talking about, restrictions are going to loosen, and then people are just, for me, I'm not sure I would go into a big crowd right away. If all of a sudden everyone, but I might go into people's homes or, have a slightly larger group and actually have them in my house. So I think everyone's going to have their own journey when it comes to getting used to it again. Some people will be right in. And, I think there's just going to be a lag. And then in terms of events, I see hybrid sticking for a while. So, dear God, I hope people start booking meetings with me, right, in the industry. But I see the need for the IT that supports hybrid, which is confusing, actually, if you really sit down and talk to the folks at, my tech company. But I see the need for that sticking for a while, potentially for a lot longer. But.
So no mosh pits in the near future. So it won't be nothing.
I mean, not for me, but that might be your jam. I have no idea.
No, probably past that. But, one thing that might be, I think it's going to be very interesting and kind of cool in the beginning is, since this went on so long, is to, go to a live event where you actually see and meet some people in person that you connected with and got to know only online.
Yes. Yes.
It's you're a lot taller than I thought you see.
I think we should do a big reception for all the people that have been on your calls.
Yeah, it could be really. I wonder about, when it comes to that, with the future, that would be being
right.
I thought we talked about this last year. I thought maybe when we got to the fall that this might be getting better. We might start doing hybrid things, and it wasn't into winter, but this could still, the hour calls could still go on. And not as frequently, but maybe one is an in-person event a month and there's 2 Zooms or something. I don't know. We'll see, but just kind of see what I'm just going with the way the wind blows.
Keep it for now the way it is. It's, I feel like we got to get to through March. So then now, April, you can be outside a little more, and the holiday, rise is past us and more people are vaccinated, and, so here's hoping.
Yep. Well, we shall see. I guess when you get that crystal ball fixed, you can let us know. We'll do
I will be a zillionaire if I get that crystal ball fixed. So.
Right. Well, I want that to happen because I know you well, and I'll be one
Thank
of those.
I appreciate that.
One of those friends calling saying, "Hey, I need $20."
Right.
So, well, thanks very much, Laura. So
thank you, Paul.
Appreciate your time today, and thanks for wrapping up our first edition of Connectors Club. Hope this is wildly successful, and everybody enjoys this and keeps watching them. But that's just an idea for, as I when I pitched it to you originally, I think you're one of those people that gets everybody, as I've gotten that line many times, and I think there's something there to talk to folks that have that experience or have kind of think that way or work that way, and just see what their thoughts are on networking and relationship building and these crazy times, and where we're ended up heading. So hopefully
they are crazy.
In better shape soon. But all right, thanks very much, and we will see you very soon.
Sounds good.